Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I mock it, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And we got a special one today as we check out friend of the channel, Ian Cummins from the Pro Football Network. But what's crackalacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. When you use promo code Broshmo at Underdog Fantasy, when you sign up, they will match your deposit up to $100. They will also have a new promotion available this Thursday for the big game, the Chiefs versus the Eagles, where with your pick'ems you will get a free square in the form of Jalen Hurts higher than 0.5 yards. So, thank you, Underdog. Remember, that's how it's gonna be available until Thursday, but you can always use promo code Broshmo to sign up and get that nice deposit where they match your money. Let's go ahead and get into this sucker with pick one. And Ian Cummins was there down at Mobile. He was also at the Shrine. Does a lot of great work. Check out Pro Football Network's Ian Cummins. But let's go ahead and dig into this sucker with. All right, so he's got a trade. He's got him going with Stroud. Wow. So he has the Colts trading up, picking Stroud. The trade is the number 1 pick to the Colts. The Bears will receive the number 4, the number 35, a first, and a third in 2024. So that's usually the draft compensation we see in these mock drafts. But he goes with Stroud. That's the more interesting one for me over, well, Bryce Young. Bryce Young's kind of my guy. He really is. So he basically just talks up Stroud, which it's fine, man. This is a guy that has great arm talent. He has prototypical quarterback size. Feels safer than you would, I guess, with Bryce Young. You know, size probably an issue for most teams. Not the best size in the world, but the Colts, they go regardless. They move up and get their signal caller. The Houston Texans are going to be going with Bryce Young. He's my top quarterback in the draft. On top of that, they're the Texans, man. D'Amico, it's probably wants a new signal caller. I get it, man. He's got the quote. We need more than just a quarterback. We gotta surround him with a good O-line, good run back, good wide receivers. It's like, yeah, that's all nice and dandy, but it'd be nice to have the quarterback position taken care of. Like, you could quote me that all day and then say you're going to draft defense. Like, don't tell me that quote and then be like, we're going to go with the best defensive prospect because we don't want to get that O-line, that wide receiver, those weapons and whatnot. It's like, okay, miss me with that. Just go ahead and get your quarterback. Jalen Carter going to the Cardinals. He's the top, him and Will Anderson, arguably the top non-quarterback prospects in this class. Him and Will Anderson, I think, are blue chip prospects in this class, and then you kind of drop off after that. So Carter being available here, they could really go either way, and I think it's okay. I imagine the Bears are now taking Will Anderson. Look at that, just like clockwork. Will Anderson going to the Bears. And hey, yeah, I mean, if Jalen Carter doesn't make it here, that's a shame. I know Matt Eberflus likes to build the defensive line from the inside out, but it kind of is what it is at this point. You're just like, you know what, we're kind of cool with whoever makes it to this pick for us. I think that's kind of the allure, the appeal in the Bears moving down to 4, that they still can land one of those two guys, ideally. And now we have another trade. Oh man, I did this in my mock last week. Go check that out. We're gonna have a new mock this week post Senior Bowl. But the Carolina Panthers move up thank you to the Seattle Seahawks, and they go ahead and take Anthony Richardson. Oh man, that's really interesting. So the Panthers receive the number 5 pick. The Seahawks get the number 9 pick, a first rounder in 2024, the second and a third. So very interesting. That's a lot of compensation, much more than I gave. So it is what it is. But Anthony Richardson being the third quarterback on the board. I guess there with a new head coach, you're like, yeah, well, we could develop somebody. We don't have to settle on Will Levis because we think he's more pro ready at this point. Let's go ahead and shoot for the guy on upside. There'll be question, oh, you probably could have sat at pick 9 and selected this guy, but it's like, if there's someone you really like in this quarterback class, go up and get him. It's as simple as that. The Detroit Lions are going with Brian Branch. That's actually a bit of a surprise. First things first, Brian Branch is top 10 prospect. Hey, I don't disagree. I like him a lot. This would be definitely an interesting fit. I do like the idea of going corner, but you get a very versatile defensive back in. Brian Branch, who, like, no lie, I mean, you could probably kick him out the corner. I'd probably still like the idea of playing him in the slot or in the box. Like, this guy's just so good around the line of scrimmage. Like, he's got that physicality. He's a sure tackler. So, I'm not against this Brian Branch pick at 6. Let's see what they do later on. Pick 7, Las Vegas Raiders. They go Will Levis. Now all the quarterbacks are officially off the board. The Raiders, man, can they bring a free agent quarterback? Not even a free agent quarterback, just a quarterback in the offseason. Whether that is, maybe Aaron Rodgers, reunite him with Devontae. Jimmy G, someone who is familiar with, Josh McDaniels. I was like, oh man, what's his name? That's gonna be a question, but like you could sit here, man, take Will Levis. I think that's a-okay. I think that's fine. And then Tennessee Titans move up. We've heard them apparently they're trying to make offers to the Bears. Obviously, you can't accept anything until free agency starts. But in here, they're moving up with Atlanta, and the trade value is pick 8 for pick 11. A second or fourth rounder in 2024 and their second rounder this year, and they get Broderick Jones. They really do need, I think offensive tackle just makes too much sense for the Titans, whether your guy here is Peter Skronsky or Paris Johnson. It just kind of makes too much sense to go with a tackle for the Titans. Derrick Henry will be your offense next year, and for all intents and purposes, like, the left side of that line needs improvement, so you do it via here. All right, Seattle Seahawks are the next pick. They traded down with the Panthers. They're getting Lucas Van Ness. Wow, I'm just going to say this. So many people in the comment section are like, oh my gosh, such a reach in Lucas Van Ness. Everyone and their mom is starting to mock this guy. Like, I say he's yeah, he could sneak in the top 20, definitely. I think he's a worthwhile pick. I think he's going to test out well. And then when he goes as high as picks 12 or such, it's like, oh, what a reach. And everyone else is mocking this guy top 10. Like, come on. Obviously, they're anticipating a much better combine than I am, but I still think Lucas Van Ness is one heck of a prospect. No Tyree Wilson or Miles Murphy off the board, though. That is important to note. We got 10, the Philadelphia Eagles going with Christian Gonzalez. Oh, but they don't draft corner. Man, I am salty with the comment section. It's all good and fun. It's all love. Remember that. But I like the idea of them going corner. James Bradbury is free agent. Darius Slay is up there in dog years. So, going corner here, whether it's maybe Christian Gonzalez, maybe you fancy Devon Witherspoon. I think both guys are fine. Pick 11 is now the Falcons, right? And they're going with Miles Murphy. So they trade down and still get their guy, get all those picks. That's kind of sick. That's sexy. Pass rush, I think, is a big need for the Falcons. Miles Murphy, not a bendy guy, but he's a guy that likes to impose his will on blockers. This cat, I think he's going to test out exceptionally well. I think on top of being exceptionally powerful, he moves exceptionally well for a 275-pounder, 6'5" as well. And again, a dude that could probably test in that Travon Walker range. All right, on to the Houston Texans. They go Jordan Addison. I kind of get this. This is, in terms of play style, it's an apples to apples replacement, I guess, for Brandon Cooks. So I get it. I understand it. it all works out a-okay. So they get their quarterback, and on top of that, they get some receiving help, some playmaker, well, a playmaker for their new quarterback. And then 13 is this one. It's the Packers. So the Packers are going with Quentin Johnston. I love the fever. Oh no, this is the Jets. So they move up. So the Jets receive Aaron Rodgers and a 4th round pick. The Packers receive the 13th, the 2nd, and a 3rd. All right, so it's gonna be interesting what Aaron Rodgers, what his trade value is. So can't wait to see that. Obviously, they switch 1st round picks here. That's a-okay. And on top of that, the Packers receive some considerable 2024 picks. So the are the Packers still picking at 15? I think the Packers still might be picking it. I don't know. We'll find out. Because I think so. The Jets receive Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so this is okay. They're not even swapping picks. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the actual value for Rodgers is if he does get moved. That's yet to be seen. So, but the Packers are like, hey, Jordan Love, you're the guy now, and you're gonna have all the weapons in the world, all of them. You go show us you're the guy now, please. I'm a big fan of Quentin Johnston. I love how he's built. Love that how he's just tough to bring down. How he gets upfield exceptionally quickly. He's more than just a possession receiver. I think he is a guy that he's got good bunnies. He can contest the catch point. We saw that obviously a lot more in 2021 than 2022, but it's there. Paris Johnson going to the Patriots. They have Isaiah Wynn is a free agent. You can't really trust the health of Trent Brown throughout his career, so grabbing more tackle help, it makes sense. We got the Packers, so they get 2 picks. They get Tyree Wilson. They get more edge help. Sean Gary is a free agent after this season, but I imagine they're going to be moving forward with him. Preston Smith is still there, but he's probably a guy they could probably move on from eventually. Kingsley Enagbare is really, really nice cat to have in the rotation there. So adding Tyree Wilson to that, I think, is a-okay. The Packers could go a multitude of different ways. And then at pick 16, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars move up. This is interesting. So the Jaguars trade, the Commanders trade pick 16, which you would think they might use this on a corner. Ron Rivera doesn't draft corners on a 1st round. Well, maybe he should. But this will be, the Commanders will receive a 3rd rounder, a 4th rounder, and a 2nd rounder from 2024. And then the Jags will get a 4th rounder from 2024. So they move up to get Von Witherspoon. I get it. Pairing him up with... Oh, man, he's seeing Devon Witherspoon as a slot guy. Probably, obviously not necessarily like maybe for the long term, but like looking at Devon Witherspoon and being like, oh, he could probably play in the slot as well, and we could still be putting our 3 best corners on the field, because Darius Williams was very good on the outside for Jacksonville after playing him in the slot. Not that great. Kicked him outside. He played exceptionally well. So, yeah, I mean, hey, corner is such a volatile position. I don't mind just keep adding talent to it. 17, we saw Anton Harrison going to the Steelers. Obviously, they need tackle help, so I think this one's a-okay. Detroit Lion fans, I already could feel y'all in my comment section. I already feel it. Oh, y'all are going nuts. Michael Mayer, trust me, Lion fans, I know how scary it is to pick a tight end in round 1 after Eric Ebron and TJ Hawkinson's selections, but it's one of Detroit's dwindling needs. There's a top-tier tight end available here at 18. Yeah, Michael Mayer is pretty darn good. I think he's going to test out above average, but what he's shown on the field as a blocker, as a guy that's capable to get separation at the top of routes. He uses his arms very well to get that separation. Huge catch radius, very sure hands. Like, I think it makes sense if you feel like there's no one else you really like on the board. So they go Brian Branch, they get Michael Mayer. For some Lions fans, they're going to be like, this is a disaster draft. I'm more open-minded than that. And you know what? I bet you if this is how the picks go too, like if Detroit ends up with that haul in real life, Lion fans will turn around and be like, you know what? I understand the pick. I think we did a solid job. And it's like, yeah, you two-faced son of a guns. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Again, salty content creator here. All right, we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers going with Kalijah Cansey. This one's a bit more surprising for me because I think corner is just such a huge position with Jamil Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting as free agents. Do you really want to swing and miss again on another one of these undersized guys that like they did with Logan Hall last year, and like they struggle to see the field? You don't really find a way to utilize them and whatnot. But like, I like Kalijah Cansey a lot. I like him at the back end of the first or somewhere in the second, because the dude has played like in the B gap for almost all of his career, most of his snaps, and he's been extremely productive there. Like, if you're gonna bet on an undersized guy, I think he might be that guy. He's got him at 6 foot 280 or 275. I got him at 280. We'll find out the combine. Seahawks are getting Josh Downs. This is very, very interesting. Added him, kind of be that elite slot guy that D. Eskridge never really turned out to be. Granted, injuries played a big role in that. But, man, adding him to Metcalf, Lockett, Downs, like, I like that. I think there's a lot of sex appeal there for me. Some people might be crying out for like Jackson Smith and Njigba. I think Downs is able to play on the outside, and some people really think Njigba can play on the outside. I don't believe that too much. Like, I don't think he could do it consistently. I think he's a guy that might play 30% on the outside. I think that's a-okay depending on your scheme, but I could see why go and Lockett here, a guy who could maybe eventually replace Tyler Lockett of the future. And even if he doesn't, he's going to be on the field a ton because of his alignment versatility. And then Bijan Robinson going to the Chargers. This is one I like to bring up sometimes because Austin Eckler. Imagine this. Next year you go in with Bijan and Austin Eckler, and then after 2023, you don't have to re-sign Austin Eckler because you got Bijan freaking Robinson. I think it makes sense. I think it really does. Like, but then again, like, I've tried to make sense of a lot of Bijan's picks because it's kind of where is Waldo at this point? You know, we're just projecting Bijan everywhere. We know he's like, oh man, this guy should be a top 20 prospect, but running back is a valued position. Who's going to be taking running back in the first round? Who? It's the freaking $1 million question. Jackson Smith and Njigba going to the Ravens. I think this makes a lot of sense in terms of what he brings as a run blocker, a guy that can create a lot after the catch. I wouldn't mind getting more speed, but lucky for the Ravens, there's a lot of speed at receiver on day 2. Nathaniel Dell, Jaden Reed, you got Jalen Hyatt. So there's a lot of speed at the position on day 2 if you're looking for that. All right, we got 23/24, the Minnesota Vikings. Joey Porter Jr. This is actually I think this would be very good. This is very good value. There's gonna be people in the comments, oh, Porter's not gonna fall this far. Good players fall in the draft all the time. Miss me with that. It happens. And you know what? Sometimes I get caught doing that, saying, oh, there ain't no way this player falls. Like, I get it. I understand it. But there's always maybe a scenario where a guy falls. There's always a scenario that could potentially happen. Some Vikings fans are like, man, no, you know what? Hey, we got a young cornerback room. Let's see what they can do. It's a volatile position. Just keep adding talent to the position, add competition. The position wasn't good last year. And your best corner, Patrick Peterson, is off to free agency. So, all right, this is Washington Commanders. They go John Michael Schmitz. And best center in the draft, but at this point, I think you're probably playing him at guard because you have. How significant was the injury on Chase? Was it Rollier? I can never pronounce his name. Never, ever, ever. Oh my gosh! Like the first article popping up. Could the Commanders cut Chase Royer? He's a really good center, man. Why'd you just want to cut ties with that? What does his contract look like? Let's see. So what does cutting him free up? He did land on IR the past 2 seasons. So you cut him, it'll result in only 8 million dead cap. It'll free up 23. No, it won't even free up 23. It'll just be 8 million dead cap. I don't know, man. That's a tough call. I'm glad I'm not an NFL GM. Interesting pick here, though. I could see it. Even if you bring him back, like this cat can play guard. I'm not worried about it. Speaking of guard, here's Osiris Torrance going to the Giants. If you're not in love with any of the receivers at this point, Zay Flowers is small. Our receivers are already small. Oh, Wandale's small, but that it's like I get it. I understand it. Osiris Torrance for sure could go higher than this. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, he's probably gonna end up a top 20 guy for me after the Senior Bowl. I thought he was that good. He had his up and downs on day 1 of practice, but he looked exceptionally good throughout the remainder of the week. I think he totally warrants potentially a top 20, top 25 pick in this case. So I think this would be a good consolation prize for the Giants. Keely Ringo going to the Dallas Cowboys, big, fast receiver. I like that. I think it'd be a good addition to the defense there, especially for, I'm sure Dan Quinn would love this. Brian Brazee, forgot he was still on the board. That kind of happens. I get it. The play hasn't been great from him since his freshman season, but you saw the talent on display that freshman year. You know it's still there. You know he's going to test out well. You know he's going to measure out exceptionally well. And you kind of want to bet on those tools. And, I mean, if you're the Bills, I mean, at this point, I still feel like safety's kind of safety. Obviously, our big needs. Safety, linebacker Tremaine Edmonds goes to free agency. But this is kind of like best player available. So I don't mind best player available. The Cincinnati Bengals take Emmanuel Forbes. I think he would be a good fit for Coach Lou's defense here. Eli Apple, oh man, his Twitter game's strong, but get on the field, man. He got his ups, he got his downs. But continuing to add to the position, I think is very nice. Cameron Taylor-Britt had a pretty solid season. You get back Chidobe Awuzie. There we go. But I mean, continuing to add corners for me is a fine answer. It's a volatile position, especially when injuries hit. You kind of want to have guys that can step up. All right, we're here at 29. Who is this? Not the Bills. Oh, that's right, the Saints via the Niners, via the Dolphins, then via the Broncos. Man, that pick got passed around. Let's just say that. Jalen Hyatt going to the Saints here. They get another vertical speedster. I mean, can you imagine you got Steakin, what's his name? Rashid Shaheed. You got Chris Olave, all these guys that could just separate. I mean, Hyatt's got a decent build, 6 foot, 180. So I think I'd still maybe want potentially a bigger receiver like Quentin Johnston. Kind of a sexy pick for the Saints. Obviously not going to be here at 29, and we know the Saints like to move up. I'm just going to throw that thought out there. Kansas City Chiefs, they go Darnell Wright. Obviously, they haven't been able to come to terms with Orlando Brown. His play's actually been really good to end the year. Then on top of that, is it Austin Wiley? He's poo poo pee pee. He's okay. He's a fine reserve. But Darnell Wright, man, yeah, I think he is probably a first rounder. Like, I think that goes without saying. You could also make the case for DeJuan Jones here. It's kind of like just pick whoever you probably rather like. I think I'll probably have Wright still ahead of Jones, but I get it. Jones' measurements were great. He moves exceptionally well for his size. The footwork is still a little clunky, but it kind of is what it is. And then the Philadelphia Eagles end this with Keon White out of Georgia Tech. I think he's a cat that could sneak into the first round. I get it. He's long. He's versatile. Very good build. He had not necessarily like a dominant Senior Bowl week, but I think he showed enough. He kind of like met expectations and then some. He looks a bit more put together than probably what I initially thought. I kind of thought he was probably a bit more of a project because he is a former tight end. Kind of missed 2 seasons because of Rona and injury, and really had his first taste of being a full-fledged starter for Georgia Tech this season. So I get it. They like the trenches. It makes sense. I'm trying to think of players that weren't in this. Say Flowers. That one, I get it, man. For me, Josh Downs and Flowers are like, I love both those guys. Those are really good prospects. DeJuan Jones might be the obvious one at tackle. Wait, Peter Skoronski, he didn't go in here, did he? Well, shimmer me timbers. No Peter Skoronski. That is actually probably the biggest surprise. Not any pick here, but the pick not made. No Peter Skoronski. Wow. Peter Skoronski is going to be a first rounder. As I say, good players fall in the draft, but man, that one feels very unreal. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.